What experience of yours is so crazy you don't tell people about it because they wouldn't believe you? I used to sweat blue for a few months. My clothes, nails, and phone cover all got stained blue. It went away after a while on its own, which was good because the doctors couldn't figure it out. I was like 12 years old and played with my dog in the backyard. He suddenly stopped and just looked at my leg. There was a piece of wood in my leg. It was 8 centimeters long and at 90-degree angle in my leg. It didn't hurt. I didn't feel anything. To this day I'm wondering how this stick found its way into my leg. One time after school I was emptying my bag on my bed. I had a sandwich wrapped in cling wrap from lunch that I didn't eat. I dropped the sandwich on the floor and I went to pick it up. I couldn't find it anywhere. I checked under my bed, in my bag, all over the floor, and under any items. I never found that sandwich. When I was younger I worked at a popular theme park in the UK as a ride assistant. One of the rides I worked on was the River Rapids. 2 young Scouse lads who had obviously been drinking got on, and it was clear they were going to be a pain in the butt. As the raft came towards the end, they both were running around the outsides of it. The raft hits the wall, and they both fell, and this is near the lift section of the ride, which, if they'd been snagged, would have torn them up badly. I ran down, and God knows how, managed to pull them both out. They were both swiftly escorted to the medical center and I'm assuming off park. The same day, after I finished work, I went to go and see a friend for a few hours, and on my way home I follow a car that is all over the place. The car hits a curb and flips onto its roof. I stop my car, run across, yank the doors open and pull both of the occupants out. Same two lads had pulled out of the water at work earlier in the day. I was on a train and this train had one of those chains which you pull in case of an emergency and it stops the train. And if you pull it for no reason you can face up to 2 years in prison and a huge fine. So I was just sitting, and when I decided to get up to go to the washroom, I was kind of stuck. So I used the nearest thing to help me get up, and what I pulled was the chain. Suddenly the train stopped, and I was like, oh crap, here I go to the prison. When suddenly people started running out of the train. P.S. The train had no doors. You would understand if you know what an average local Indian train looks like. I don't know about other countries, and what I realized was that a compartment of the train was on fire. So that's how I survived from going to prison and accidentally saved the train. I told this story to a friend, but he would not believe me, so I just let it go. TLDR, I saved train and no go prison. I like watching wild birds at my work. I watched a young magpie steal bread off a raven. The magpie's family then attacked the young magpie, took the bread off, and gave it back to the raven. They were bird yelling at the young bird, then called to the young magpie and kinda forced it to the front of the pack to the raven. The adult magpies gently pecked at the young magpie until it sung at the raven. Then the magpies all waddled away and went back to hunting for bugs. I feel like I watched some sort of family magpie discipline to prevent an interspecies bird war. Edit. These are Australian birds, so they are the size of footballs. Magpies are smart and a bit mean if they don't like you. My friend and I once missed the last train home after a gig and wandered around a nearby harbour, killing time until the train started up again. A drunk man, around 30 years older than us at the time, stumbled out of a building and invited us onto his boat. We sat with him drinking rum for a few hours while he regaled us with stories about all the sex parties he'd hosted on this boat. I didn't believe him, but I was warm and had a drink in hand, so I humored him. He eventually pulled a lever near the front which opened a secret door to a sex dungeon filled with all kinds of bondage gear and sex toys. We then added each other on Facebook and my friend and I went to catch our train back to London. Edit. He would tell us about the numerous women that were half his age that would come from all over the country to attend these parties. He would also tell us that he was absolutely, unequivocally not gay, but would totally suck off the other guys in attendance because it was the polite thing to do. A pirate hero. Opened the fridge and a edit jar of mustard came falling down. It hit the ground and I already thought, great, now I have to clean all of it up, but I genuinely didn't hear it hitting the ground. When I looked down there was nothing there. No glass shards, mustard, nothing. Looked around for a good 5 minutes questioning my reality. Turns out it kinda repelled of the ground and landed in the winner shelf next to the fridge, like 1.5 feet above the floor. Upright. Standing. It straight up did a bottle flip off the floor. It dropped a solid 6 feet on hard ground and just bounced. Still questioning the laws of physics to this date. Once when I was 8 I was climbing out of the bathtub after showering. Since I was wet and shit, my mom wrapped me up in a towel, so my hands were wrapped as well. I ended up tripping over the edge of the bathtub and face planted onto the ground, where I just laid there kinda comatose for a second. So I tried to get up, blood flowing down my face from a cut in my head and my nose, and my bucket of crabs nearby. This was a seaside resort. Toppled over and went all over me, and they were like in a blood frenzy or something, because they pinched me all over, so I started rolling on the ground. Lovely experience BTW. My family kinda just stared at me. I bled from my nose for 3 hours after being rescued from the crabs and got sent to hospital, where my nose actually wasn't broken. My family refuses to acknowledge it ever happened, even though I have a hospital bracelet with that date. Oddest thing ever. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed these crazy Reddit stories.